I'm sitting in the passenger seat of a star car right now, hovering perfectly still, about 20 feet above the blue dunes of Ethosa. If you're wondering, yes, the sand below us really is blue. Not camera filter blue, not artistic exaggeration blue. It's a deep sapphire color that shifts as the light moves across it, almost like the surface is breathing. Jenna's not with me at the moment. She's out there, just past the starboard side, collecting samples for a high school science project. I know how that sounds. A high school project on another planet. But trust me, if you saw what she's holding, you'd understand. The sand here isn't sand in the way we think of it on Earth. Each grain is pure jadeite, AAA quality, gem grade, translucent, and flawless. On Earth, a single stone like this would sit behind glass in a museum, guarded by people with very serious expressions. Here, it covers millions of square miles. When the wind moves across the dunes, it looks like an ocean made of blue light. Ethosa is a mega-sized planet, but its gravity is lighter than Earth's. That surprises a lot of people. The reason is buried deep beneath me, an Obscurium 274 core so massive and so precisely structured that it redistributes gravitational stress in a way we're still trying to fully model. The surface geology floats a little, like it's being gently held rather than pinned down. That's why Jenna walks out there like she's almost dreaming, careful, slow, each step lifting just a bit more easily than her body expects. She's using crystal containers to collect the sand. Clear, pressure-stabilized, inert. When she pours the grains inside, they chime softly. I didn't expect that. The first time we heard it, we both froze. Each grain catches the light like a tiny blue diamond, but softer, kinder, as if it doesn't want to blind you, just invite you closer. Sister Mona Beacon says the monasteries of the Blue Dunes treat this sand as sacred. Not because it's rare, but because it isn't. She once told me, what covers the world teaches patience. What hides in vaults teaches fear. The monks believe the dunes are so old that they predate most recorded galactic civilizations. Billions of years. The jade was formed in epochs when Ethosa's crust folded inward instead of outward, compressing mineral lattices under steady, harmonized pressure. No violence, no fracture. Just time, heat, and obedience to physical law. Jenna came back to the star car earlier and handed me one of the bottles. She didn't say anything. We just held it up together, toward the sun. I still don't have the right words for what that looked like. The light passed through the grains and turned liquid. Blue waves moved inside the bottle, slower than light, faster than thought. It wasn't hypnotizing in the way people usually mean. It didn't pull you away from yourself. It brought you closer. I felt Jenna's hand tighten around mine. I looked over, and she was crying, not in pain, in recognition, like something inside her had been remembered rather than discovered. Neither of us moved for a long time. When we finally kissed, it didn't feel dramatic. It felt inevitable, like the universe had leaned in first, and we were just following. That moment always brings me back to another time, to our spring break on Ethosa. Most people went to beaches, or resorts, or moons with engineered skies and predictable sunsets. We went to REI in Los Angeles, bought the best camping gear we could carry, and vanished into the caverns beneath the blue dunes. Directly beneath where I'm hovering right now is a labyrinth of crystal caves, entire chambers carved from solid, transparent blue jade. Not faceted, not cut, grown. The walls rise like frozen waves. You can see through them, layer upon layer, each one catching and bending light slightly differently. During the day, sunlight filters down through fissures in the dunes above. At night, the glowworms come alive. They don't glow on the surface, they glow inside the stone, tiny living threads of light moving slowly through the jade, like stars drifting behind a veil. The light softened everything, edges, shadows, even time. We lay there, wrapped in sleeping bags, then eventually without them, bathed in blue. What we shared in that place wasn't just physical, it felt ceremonial, like being invited into something ancient that trusted us to be gentle. Jenna cried afterward, not from sadness. She said she wished she could live forever like I would. I reminded her that Pentillions don't live forever. We live trillions of years. There's a difference. She laughed so hard she had to bury her face in my chest. Then, probably because I'm incapable of leaving well enough alone, I told her that Ariana, Madame Pentillion, had quietly promised to modify Jenna's genetics so she could share those years with me. Jenna froze. She asked about her family. I told her that went without saying, and then she cried for real. Not out of fear, out of relief, out of knowing that love didn't require erasure, that continuity mattered. We spent that week cooking meals over soft heat crystals, mapping cave branches, listening to the stone hum at night. Sometimes we talked about science, the lattice structures, the pressure gradients, the way Obscurium 274 stabilizes harmonic resonance across entire continents. Sometimes we just held each other and listened. Sister Mona once said, "Some places teach the soul by remaining silent long enough for the truth to speak." The Blue Jade Caverns did that for us. So when I look down now, at Jenna kneeling in the dunes, carefully sealing another crystal bottle, I don't just see a science project. I see a future where young people don't inherit fear of the unknown. I see worlds that are beautiful, not because they're perfect, but because they're old enough to be honest. And I see a girl holding a piece of a planet that's been waiting billions of years to be noticed, not claimed, not owned, just understood. When she comes back, I'll help her label the samples. We'll argue, gently, about classifications. We'll laugh about how no one at her school is going to believe this is real. And maybe, someday, someone watching this will realize that the universe isn't out there to escape into. It's out there to meet you, once you're ready to look back with care.